Now we are starting our discussion of part C because it's a Saturday class, part C, decision. Decision making. First of all, I am going to the syllabus which is written by the institute. Section C. Section C, cost, volume, profit analysis, marginal analysis, pricing. 3 areas are there. In the cost, volume, profit analysis, fixed cost, variable cost, CVP, break even, income tax and CVP analysis, sensitivity analysis, analysis of multiple products. The entire area is called cost, volume, profit analysis. Some notes are written here relating to that. Then this is point 2, marginal analysis. That is all decision making. Special order, pricing, make or buy, sell or process, add or drop a line, income tax. And then the third part is pricing. Pricing, how the pricing is decided for a product or service. The price is dependent on laws of supply and demand. It depends upon different types of markets. So elasticity economics portion is also covered along with pricing. And then I have written all these 3 things in 3 different slides. The first one is CVP, the second one is marginal analysis, and the third one is relating to pricing. Now, this is we are saying short-term decision making. Short-term decision making. What is short-term decision making? Just giving some hypothetical example. Suppose there is a student want to join our classes, CMA US. He's saying that, sir, can you give me discount? Can you offer some discount? I don't have money. He genuine. He don't have money. And he's saying that, sir, I will not be able to pay this much fees. I want to pay less. Suppose, should I allow him to join the classes at a lesser fees than whatever is paid by Piyasa, Salman or Madhu Sekar or anybody? There will be injustice on the part of you when I am allowing that person. Because according to me, definitely you all have also the financial problem. It's not that the new student has a financial problem only. The first thing. The second thing is that when the price for a product is decided, it is not decided on the basis of one expenditure. It is decided on the basis of all the entire expenditure in the organization. As you all are working in any organization, whatever the expenditure of the organization need to be covered through the sale price, through the revenue. Then only the organization will be at break even. But if I will say that, suppose, what is my additional cost relating to one additional student? If in the batch there are say 50 students, when the 51 number student is joining, the additional cost for me is approximately near to 0. Because the class, the faculty same, the internet is same, the software is same, the staff salary is same, the electricity is same. What is my additional cost? Nothing. If I will say that if a new order is coming, if a new student is asking for a discount, I can accept the student the cost, whatever he will be giving, that is the income. But then why I am not accepting? In my case, I am dealing in homogeneous product. That is whatever the teaching is given to Salman, to Madhu Sekar, to Lalit, to anybody, the same teaching will be given to that student also. It's the same market. The online classes, the same market, homogeneous product. So I cannot charge different prices for a different product from the customer. But suppose there is an organization which is selling customization products. That means whatever I am giving to Rekha, that thing I am not giving to Salman. That is something different. So when the thing is different, I can charge a different price from Rekha. Or maybe there is a different market, wholesale, retail. Rekha is a retail market and then Salman is in wholesale market. In wholesale market, prices are different. Suppose it's a domestic, international. In the domestic market, in the domestic thing, the taxes and all that are different. At international level, the taxes and all that are different. So either there should be differentiation, either there should be customization, either there should be different type of market. Then in that case, the question of accepting a special order at a different price comes. But if you say petrol, you are buying petrol at a petrol pump. You buy at any pump, diesel, petrol, it will be costing you same. Maybe the petrol pump owner has petrol pump at 4 locations. He cannot sell the petrol or diesel at different locations at different prices. Maybe that is government regulated. But we need to understand that in every organization, one is decision making and one is fixing the prices for long term. I have set the price of my product that for CMA US the price is 51,999. That will be payable by every student whoever will join. Maybe for each individual student the cost is not 51,999. That's obviously. But then that 51,999 is decided after considering all the expenditures in the organization, after considering the GST, after considering taxes, everything. And the same product is given to one student to another student. So the pricing cannot be different. Maybe the logic says that for a new student the cost is not that, but then the pricing cannot be different. We are going to discuss in the chapter, you can see, these short-term decision making. I am bringing a new product in the market. What should be the minimum price of the new product? I am receiving offer from a new, you can say, customer. They are very big. Initially, they want to test ourselves. So I can offer them at a lesser price. The decision making, what price I should be selling the product, what order I should accept, the new product at what price I should offer. There are many types of decision making we need to do. These are called short-term decision. Why? Because they are for that moment. The short-term decision in technical language we say generally for maximum 1 year. That decision is going to affect the organization for maximum 1 year. For that reason we don't consider time value of money. Means what? $1 today and $1 after 5 years is not same. It is $1, but the today's $1 is more valuable than $1 after 5 years. That is time value of money. This we are going to discuss in Tuesday class. Initially, beginning only. That is part E. First of all, part E I will teach in Tuesday class. But here we are saying that it's a short-term decision. $1 today, $1 after 10 days is same only. Maybe there is some, but that we ignore. We consider within 1 year there is no time value of money. So in short-term decision making, what are the things we need to consider? How the short-term decisions are taken? The short-term decisions does not depend upon your accounting income. What you are doing in your books of accounts, what you are reporting as profit in your income statement, how you are preparing your financial statement. The short-term decision making is not related with that. The accounting, PL account, balance sheet will be prepared as per accounting guidelines. But for decision making, there is no guidelines. It's my own lookout. It's my own decision. How I will decide, how I will take any decision. So in this area in the decision making, they have given first of all CVP. The cost, volume, profit analysis. Cost, volume, profit analysis. Cost means all the types of cost which are incurred in the organization. Volume means sales volume. In my case, it is number of students. In any organization which are, I mean to say, selling products, number of units, kg, liter, whatever. And the cost and volume will be giving me profit. More sales will be giving me more profit. Lower cost will be giving me more profit. So cost, volume, profit analysis. So analysis of cost, analysis of volume, and the effect of that on profit. For that reason, the name of the chapter, cost, volume, profit analysis. And believe me, when we study nowadays 11th, 12th, undergraduation, BCom first year, second year, in every syllabus, this cost, volume, profit analysis is there. I am assuming zero knowledge. You don't have to take tension. But I am just saying that It is something which we studied at the time of graduation always. If we have done commerce graduation, if we have done arts or science, then not. What is cost? The question arises that what is cost? We can say cost to produce goods or cost to provide services. In my organization, cost is whatever training classes I am giving to you. Then to provide those training classes, whatever cost I am incurring, internet, software, staff, salary, rent, all these things, these are my cost. Study material cost, these are treated as cost. Cost of any goods and services, to produce a goods, to sell a goods, or to provide a services, whatever cost we are incurring, that is treated as cost. The cost can be manufacturing, the cost can be selling, the cost can be administration. This will be possible in a manufacturing organization. Those organizations which are only doing trading, purchasing and selling goods, in those organizations there is no manufacturing cost. In my organization, I am not producing any goods. I am a service organization, providing service. So in providing service, whatever cost I am incurring. So different organization, different types of costs are there. But the most important cost which we need to understand is variable cost and fixed cost. Variable cost and fixed cost. Variable, which will vary, and fixed cost, which will not vary. Variable cost vary with volume. Volume more, volume less, the variable cost will vary as per the volume. Fixed cost will remain fixed. Whatever may be the volume. Suppose I will say that in my case, generally the variable costs are approximately 0. In my case, on the basis of per student, there is no cost. Whether it's internet, whether it's salary, whether it's rent, whether it's a software, all costs are fixed. In my case, there is no single cost which is variable. All the cost, all the expenditures are fixed. This is good also, this is bad also. If the volume, if the number of students are more, there will be huge income. But if the number of students are less, maybe I will not be able to cover my expenses also. Because whether the student join the class or not, salary, software, internet, rent, electricity, all these will be there. They are not going to change. So if the number of students are not reaching to a particular level, the organization will be suffering loss. In any organization, when the fixed expenses are very high, then we say that the organization is very risky. Because risk means the chances of loss. In those organizations where fixed expenses are higher, the chance of loss in those organizations is higher. But in those organizations where variable expenses are more, the loss will not arise. Suppose I will say that I am purchasing this cup and then selling. When I will purchase, when the sale demand is there, otherwise why I will purchase? And when I am purchasing say at $10, I will be selling at greater than $10. That's logical. I'm not saying that when I'm purchasing and selling cup, then there is no fixed cost. The fixed costs are there, but they are very less. Mainly it's variable cost. I will be purchasing cup when the demand is there. And I know that I will be selling the cup at greater than $10. So whatever I will be getting greater than $10, that is not income. But that will be helping me to cover my fixed expenses, whatever is there, and the balance is income. The variable expenses are those expenses which will vary, which will change by change in the production, which will be changing by change in the output. If your output goes up, the variable cost goes up. If your output goes down, variable cost goes down. So the volume and variable cost are proportionately related. Volume means production and sale quantity. The variable cost is directly proportional to volume. If I will say in a manufacturing organization, for every unit manufactured, they require 2 kg raw material. For every unit to manufacture, they require 2 kg raw material. Every kg raw material will be $5. So 2 kg raw material, $10. So for every unit to produce $10 raw material, one unit $10, another unit $10, third unit $10, fourth unit $10. It will remain $10 per unit. If I will produce 1000 units, 1000 into 10. If I will produce 5000 units, 5000 into 10. So we can say variable cost per unit will remain constant, and total variable cost equals to units into variable cost per unit. If your units are less, the total variable cost will be less. If your units are more, the total variable cost will be more. When I am saying this, I am saying on the basis of certain assumptions. If I am saying my material cost for one unit is $10, now the material cost may be less than $10. If I am purchasing more and more material, I am producing more, I am getting bulk discount from the supplier, it may be possible. Or maybe it can be possible that initially when I am starting the production, I am using 2 kg material, wasting some material. But when I started doing the production again and again, then I found that this way the material can be saved. The wastage will be less and the consumption of material may not be 2 kg, it will be less than 2 kg. But these things will not arise daily. These things will arise after a gap of some time. So we are assuming ceteris paribus that variable cost per unit are going to remain same. There is no change in discount price of material. There is no change in my efficiency in the production. Nothing is going to change. So variable cost per unit remains constant. If it will change, then the total variable cost will change. Fixed cost, rent, salary, insurance, anything, etc. Rent, salary, insurance, etc. If the number of students in Saraf Academy 50, then also rent, salary, insurance will remain same. If the number of students 500, then also same. They are not going to change. In any manufacturing organization, purchasing and selling this cup, they have an office. The office rent, the office electricity, the office staff salary will be same, whatever may be the case. But the fixed cost also changes when, suppose I will say that the platform which I am using can accommodate 100 students at a time in the live class, but the number of students are greater than 100. Then the platform cost is say X for the time being. If the number of students are in double digit, up till 99, it is X. But if it is 100 triple digit, then it will be say 3X. 99 to 100, just one more student from 99, it will be 3X. That means the fixed cost will increase by change in the capacity. But today I will teach 10 students, tomorrow 90, next day 200, next day 500. Never happen in life like that. The capacity of the organization does not change daily. The capacity of the organization for a short period remain constant. So the fixed cost remain constant. We should never calculate fixed cost per unit for decision making. We should never. You will say that, sir, when you are doing the pricing of your product, when you are doing pricing of your, what do you say, the tuition fees, how you are doing that? First of all, I don't have so much time to start doing pricing every day. Normally, I say that to my student, I am charging 100 for per hour class. Normally. You will say that, sir, it is 51,999. But in 51,999, 18% is GST. When you paid the fees, it is 12,000 gone to government. So left with me is only 40,000. Now, in this 40,000, if you say I am teaching around 240 hours, per hour is basically 100, so 24,000. Then you can see that in your case, since many times there are different classes are there, where I incorporate, sometime I ask you come in CPA batch, I am teaching there. Many times it happens because the common areas are there. then in the CMA US the cases is there, it is many times greater than 240 hour. But in all other cases, if you say ACCA CIMA, I am charging 100 rupees per hour. My calculation is that if I teach 100 rupees from one student, I should be getting 100 rupees for 1 hour class. So if I am teaching 2.5 hours from one student, I should be getting 250 rupees. I mean to say that, what is this pricing? This pricing will be considered based on the total cost. Based on the total cost, what is my per hour cost? And for per hour, how much I should be getting from the student so that I can cover my expenses. But understand that in a batch, in an hour, there are 5 students, there are 20 students, there are 50 students. Whatever may be, my cost of 1 hour is constant. If the number of students are more, then I will be able to earn more. I have decided based on my capacity of teaching, based on the average number of students, that by charging 100 per hour, I will be able to generate income which I require. I will be able to cover my expenses. I will be able to pay my staff and all that. But actually for every student, there is no 100-hour cost of Saraf Academy. It's not like that. It's a fixed cost. When I am doing the pricing, maybe I am considering the fixed variable everything. But in decision making, that is initially, as I said, there is a new order, there is a new product I am going to sell. I should never calculate fixed cost per unit. Because if I will calculate fixed cost per unit, I will not be able to do business. Suppose my cost, not talking about my tuition classes, suppose in an organization, the fixed and variable cost per unit each 20. Fixed and variable cost. Out of that 20, the 5 is variable cost, 15 is fixed cost. So if the new order is accepted, then also $15 will be there. Not accepted, then $15 will be there. Only for additional order, $5 is the cost. And you will be able to decide whether you should accept new order when you are going to get greater than 5. It's a different market, wholesale, retail, customized product, whatever. Then I can sell the product at greater than the variable cost. So whenever we do questions, the questions are more oriented, not like my classes, the question are oriented towards decision making. Where we should not be calculating fixed cost per unit. If we calculate fixed cost per unit, we will be doing wrong. Because if I will say my rent, I am teaching say 500 students, then the rent divided by 500 student per student rent. So if a new student joins, then whether there is a rent also? No. If the number of students become 499, whether there is decrease in rent? No. The fixed costs are not per unit. They will remain constant in total. So whenever we are taking decisions in life, ignore fixed cost. Don't consider fixed cost. Fixed cost is not relevant in decision making. Fixed cost is common. Unless and until for doing something there is additional fixed cost. That's other thing. How we will understand in any question or in any exam question or in practical life also, why I will say exam, that this cost is variable, this cost is fixed. Hundred units, 200 units. 1 second. 120 units. Cost 1. Cost 1 is say 1000. Cost 2 is 1200. This is dollar. Assume that I am writing dollar. Cost 2. 400. 480. Cost 2 400, 480. Cost 3. 500. 580. Cost 4. 750. 750. 750. 750. Now anybody, can say which one is variable, which one is fixed cost in this organization. If they are producing 100 units, then the cost, 4 types of cost are this. If they are going to produce and sell 120 units, each type of cost are going to be this. Then can we say which one cost is variable, which one is fixed? Can anybody say which cost is variable, which cost is fixed? Cost 1 and 2 is variable cost. Okay. Cost 1 and 2 is variable cost. Then cost 4 is fixed cost. Then cost 4 is fixed cost. Then cost 3 is semi-variable. So I have not explained semi-variable, but you said very good. Now cost 1, whether it is variable or fixed depends upon whether it is per unit same. 1000 by 100, $10. 1200 by 120, $10. So it is 100 into 10, 120 into 10. Per unit is same. Cost 2, 400 by 100, $4. 480 by 120, $4. It is also 100 into 4, 120 into 4. Per unit same. Cost 3, 500 by 100, $5. But 580 by 120 is not $5. It is not 100 into 5, 120 into 5. Cost 4, whether it's 100 units, whether it's 120 units, it is 750. So when the total amount is same, it is fixed cost. When per unit is same, it is variable cost. But when the total is not same, per unit is not same, then it is called semi-variable cost. Semi-variable means what? In the cost 3, there is some portion variable, there is some portion fixed. Both type of costs are included in that. Example, suppose we have salesman. We are paying them salary 10,000 per month and we are paying them on per unit sale $2 commission. So 10,000 becomes the fixed portion, $2 becomes the variable portion. Suppose in case of electricity, if you consume the electricity this much, the rate will be this. If you consume this, the rate will be this. Now in electricity, it is difficult to say which one is variable, which one fixed, but it's a semi-variable cost. It is a slab-based cost. Electricity, telephone. So there are some semi-variable costs where you can segregate between variable and fixed portion. And there are some variable costs where you cannot segregate between variable and fixed portion. Cost 1 and 2 are variable cost as per unit same. Cost 4 is fixed cost as total is constant. Cost 3 is semi-variable, means fixed cost plus variable cost. Problem remaining silent, like it is not said that cost 3 is electricity based on slab or something. We will say that there is some portion fixed, there is some portion variable. I can say 500 equals to fixed cost plus 100 into variable cost. Because in 500 there is some fixed portion I don't know. And in 500 there is a variable portion which is based on 100 units. And in 580 also there is some fixed cost plus the variable portion is 120 into variable cost. When I am producing 120 units, then in 120 variable cost is 120 into variable cost per unit and the fixed cost is same. We are assuming that in 500, in 580 the fixed cost is same. That is not different. The difference in the cost is because of variable cost. So if I want to solve this simultaneously, two equations. From the second one I am deducting the first one. 580 minus 500, 80. Fixed cost cancel. 120 minus 100, 20 variable cost. So the variable cost per unit is coming how much? 4. 80 by 24. So fixed cost is how much? Fixed cost is 500 minus 100 into 4 equals to 100. Or I can say 580 minus 120 into 4 equals to 100. When 100 units are produced, the variable cost is 100 into 4, 400. 500 minus 400, 100 is fixed cost. When 120 units are produced, 120 into 4, 480 is the variable cost. 580 minus 480, 100 is the fixed cost. That will be coming same. Because otherwise I am saying something wrong. But when the problem is silent, we will assume this only. That in the semi-variable, there is some variable portion and there is some fixed portion. How can we do? The variable cost per unit equals to difference in cost divided by difference in units. Why this is happening? Because fixed cost is same at both the levels. If the fixed cost is not same in 500 and 580, then I will be doing wrong. In 500, the fixed cost is 100. In 580, the fixed cost is 100. The variable cost is different because of the production quantity. So I am saying that the difference in cost, 580 to 500 to 580, 80 is only variable. There is no fixed. That 80 variable is extra for 20 units. That 80 variable is extra for 20 units. I don't have to solve any equation. I just need to see that whether the fixed cost is same at both the levels or not. Then the change in the cost is variable. But if the fixed cost in 500, fixed cost in 580 is not same, then I cannot do this. Then this is not allowed. Then I cannot say that 4 per unit is variable. So problem remaining silent, we will always assume that the semi-variable can be broken down into variable and fixed. If the problem is not silent, they will say that for this much range, the semi-variable is this. For this range, the semi-variable this. For this range, semi-variable this. That is other thing. So here in this example, variable cost is 10 plus 4 plus 4. How I am saying? The first one 1000 by 100, 10, 400 by 100, 4, and in semi-variable 4. So total is coming 10 plus 4 plus 4, 18 per unit. And total fixed cost 100 plus 750 equals to 850. 100 is the semi-variable portion fixed and 750 is the fixed cost, which is cost 4. So there are 4 types of cost. Maybe there are 20 types of cost, but we can divide the cost into 2 categories: variable, fixed. Variable cost is that cost which will vary by production. 18 per unit, 1 unit, 2 unit, 2 into 18, 3 unit into 18, 4 unit, 4 into 18. But the fixed cost will remain 850 only. Whenever we want to take decisions anywhere in any organization, first of all, the cost need to be divided into 2 categories: the variable cost per unit and the total fixed cost. Then only the decision making will start. Otherwise, the decision making will not start. In your questions, whenever you do questions from any book, 50% questions in decision making are based on only this understanding. That if 3-4 types of costs are given, you can understand this is variable, this is fixed. That means 90% chance that you can do the question very fast. But most of the students, when they read, they are not focusing whether it is variable, fixed. When they read the question, then they realize, oh what? So we need to be focused that decision making is very much related with understanding the behavior of the cost, nature of the cost. Whether the cost is variable, whether it is fixed. Variable cost is that cost which will be constant per unit. For 1 unit, whatever is the cost, into 2, into 3, into 4, like that. Fixed cost is that cost which will remain constant in total. So if semi-variable cost is given, our presumption in any question will be there in the practical life also, that at different levels the fixed cost is same. So the difference is due to variable. We can calculate variable cost per unit without any equation, not mathematics, just simply difference in cost by difference in units. The condition is that the fixed cost should be same at both the levels. Relating to this, there are further discussion is required, because then only once we understand cost, volume and profit, then we will be able to understand break-even and all that. So it requires a whole lot of discussion, at least around 1.5 hours, Then only this can complete. So we will continue this in the next Saturday, not Tuesday, Friday. Next Saturday we will continue this. By that time you revise the stuff, you make your plan. You don't have to share your plan of study, but you make your plan and follow the plan for 4-5 days. Automatically everything will be good. Automatically everything will be in line. Because if anybody has not given any exam for more than 6-7 months, that the chances of that student, as per my experience, will never give any exam, will never become CMA US. Don't go into that frame. If you want to become CMA US, you have to give exam by June end. The part 2 which we have started. Okay. So we will continue in the next class on next Saturday at 7:30. And Tuesday, Friday, that will be different thing we will be doing. Party. Okay. Leaving for today. Thank you to all of you. Take care. And please follow my instructions, what I said, to become CMA US. Thank you. Tada.